really our mission is bringing family and friends around the table. All right, what is up, guys? Ryan Lane with Lane's Barbecue, and I've got with me Jeremy Sloan, our marketing director, and this is another episode of At the Table with Ryan Lane, which sounds really weird.
So arrogant.
I know, you named it, right? Did I name that?
I named it, yeah.
Okay. All right. But this is just one of those things. What we want to do is just kind of like tell a story.
Yep.
Like answer questions that you guys have maybe submitted or that the team has, or just a chance to just kind of catch up and tell a little bit more about Lanes and our brand and, you know, kind of the why behind what we do.
Yeah. So one of the questions that I know I've gotten a few times, and that actually it's my favorite story of yours.
Oh, yeah.
It's the one-legged chicken story. What's a one-legged chicken? Like, they don't understand, you know, and I didn't understand either. But when you tell a story, like,
well, now there's a lot of pressure.
there's so much. This is going to be. This has got to make the news.
It'll make the podcast news
Podcast
when we release
news.
it. But well, before I tell the story, let me start with this. So it was about 3 weeks ago. I was down in St. Simon's with my brother and Matt, who's going to start with us this week.
Yep.
And we were eating at our favorite little sushi spot. And I just sent Ansley. So my daughter loves to go there. We try to go there 2 or 3 times every time we're down there. And the waitress, like, I gave her I was paying, and I gave her the card, and she comes back and she's like, wait, you got to tell me what's a one-legged chicken? And my brother's like, how would she know about one-legged chicken? And I forgot that, like, it's on the credit card.
Yeah.
And so it's such a, like, powerful, like, story behind what we do.
Yeah.
And so it was funny. She's like, tell me about, I was like, I don't think we have enough time for me to tell you about the one-legged chicken, but if you're ever near Athens, Georgia, you should stop up and you can come in and we'll give you some. She's like, what happened to his leg? So we'll kind of get into that, but it actually goes back to even so the one-legged chicken actually occurred while I was still selling insurance. Mm-hmm. We had bought that smoker that Brett and I had gotten, and with it, when we weren't doing catering, we were like, let's do a barbecue competition. And so neither one of us knew what we were getting ourselves into. Yeah. We knew we liked to cook. We knew we liked to hang out. And I was like, all right, Brett, let me get a bunch of my buddies together. And so I called my buddy Tyson, who actually worked with us for a little bit.
Yep.
And Tyson was like, oh, yeah, we've got to do this. There's a barbecue event in Cumming, Georgia. So it was like 20 minutes from all of us. Mm-hmm. It was called, oh my gosh, I can't even remember what it was called now. I don't know, but it was at the fairgrounds in Cumming.
Yep.
And so we rented an RV, and we can tell another story about the RV later. But we rented an RV, we got the smoker in there, and we like pull in, and we're like totally out of place.
Right.
We have no idea what we're doing. And there's like these massive like RVs pulling in, and these teams are serious about what they do. I didn't understand competition barbecue.
Yeah. You still don't understand.
I still don't I still don't understand competition barbecue. I think I want to be good at it, but I don't put in the time and the effort that's needed for it. But that's a whole nother conversation. Sure. But so we pull in, and I remember actually it's funny that we're telling this story because I have so many friends that I met that weekend that we still talk to this day. But we pull in, and there's like a backyard section and a professional section. And then we're in like a section that's kind of like mixed in. So there's like a couple pro teams, a couple backyard teams. And most of the like teams are pretty private. Like they've got their own secrets.
Yeah.
There's this thing called, I'm not sure if you've heard this term. It was my first time, called shigging.
Shigging.
Shigging is a term that's used in the pro tip. In the competition world, that's like, you're like cheating. Like you go and hang out with another team to kind of see what they're doing, and then you can bring like some tips.
Throw a little
back.
Your spite, like
you can bring back
habanero
some tips to your team. And I remember like we were just talking to people, and one of the guys, Herschel, come up. He's like, "You shigging on us?" And I'm like, "I didn't touch you. Like I don't know what this, but I learned so much that weekend." But so There was a team to one side of us. It was Herschel and Ryan Huffman and a lot of those guys that we still talk to. Actually, Legacy.
Yeah. Yep.
So Ryan Huffman is one of the owners in Legacy. And then on the other side was a guy named Randy. And Randy was flying solo. Randy did probably 30 to 40 barbecue events a year. And he like just went around by himself. He was the coolest dude. And so the thing is, you get in on Friday. And it's really a 3-day thing, which is probably why it didn't work out, because my wife was like, you're not going to happen. 3 days. But we pull in Friday, maybe mid-morning, and Friday night is the people's choice. And so we were doing chicken wings, and like that's really like what we did. We knew we were good at it. We got to talk to people as they came in. And so, but like we'd been hanging out, and Randy was kind of coming over, and, you know, I'd be like, hey, you know, we've never done this before. What are all the submissions? And he told us, you know, there's like a chicken and a pork and a ribs. And we were in the backyard division, so we didn't do brisket. I think it was just chicken, pork, and ribs for us. And so, you know, we had the pork butts, we had our ribs, we had everything. And we got done with the chicken wing competition that night, and we were like, man, this is easy.
Just like nailing
easy.
it. Yeah.
The pork was already on the smoker. We'd done chicken wings. We had a blast. Like the crowd loved it. We were in our element.
Right.
Like we were cooking, we were serving, we were talking to people. Yeah. Like it was true community.
Yep.
And like Randy was there, Herschel and Brian, they were like hanging out with us. And I was like, I get it. Like this is so much fun. And so it came time to, Randy was like, hey man, have you prepped your chicken yet? Like chicken is the first turn in tomorrow. And I'm like, no, like, isn't it tomorrow? And he's like, yeah, but like, usually like people will, most people in the competition, I think this is the way it was, but will do thighs. So like they're doing chicken thighs. So they'll buy, skin on, like bone-in thighs, but then they take the bones out and they clean up the skin and they do all this prep work. We'd done none of that.
Just got whole chickens just sitting in a tray somewhere.
Well, that was it. So like most people bring chicken thighs, like, and I was like, no, Randy, man, we'll throw our chickens on in the morning. He's like, what do you mean? And I was like, I got a case of whole chickens. And he's like, how are you going to fit a whole chicken in a box? And I was like, well, I don't know. And he's like, let me tell you how. You're not. Like, what are you going to do? And he's like, most people will have chicken thighs. And I was like, I don't know. The only thing I can think of is like, should we do legs? I had 18 whole chickens. And he's like, that would be better than you're not going to fit a whole chicken. I could have done like chicken halves or something like that. But like, you really need it to be something where, you know, I think at each table is like 5 or 6 judges. So you needed something in a box that had 5 or 6 portions. Yeah. And he's like, if you give them a whole chicken, they're not going to know what to grab. And I was like, all right, help me out. It's like 3 a.m. I will say that there, you know, like there were some beverages shared throughout the day. Like it's just a boys' weekend. We're out there.
Coca-Cola. We're in Georgia.
That's right. That's right. We're all just hanging out. And I remember thinking like, what have I got myself into? Like the butts are already going. The ribs are already prepped. And I was like, okay, what if we did the legs? And he's like, Ryan, you're going to lose. But like, yeah, go ahead and do that. And I was like, all right. So we got off the table. I grabbed these box of chickens out and I've got like a knife and I'm just trying to like take legs off of chickens. 18 chickens. Yeah. I don't know why I was thinking I needed 36 legs.
I don't know. Yeah.
But apparently at 3 a.m,
you needed that many.
I did. And I remember like all of my buddies, I think they're either asleep or they've gone off. They're hanging out with other people. And I'm there like taking these legs off the chickens. And then I would put the rest of the chicken on the smoker. So that way, like, we could still cook it. We could serve it. Feed other people. And I remember the last one, I chopped one leg off and just grabbed the chicken and threw it on. He's like, hey, man, what the hell are you doing with a one-legged chicken on the smoker? And I was like, and it's one of those things like, it wasn't even that it was that funny.
Right.
Like, but it was 3 a.m.
Yeah.
You're exhausted. It'd been a long day already. And like, you just figured out that you're a moron.
Yeah.
And you brought the wrong thing to a party.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Yep. Like, you showed up with a salad.
You just lean into it.
You know,
basically.
And the barbecue guys are like, why'd you bring lettuce?
Yeah.
You know? And so I bring whole chickens. And he's like, you're an idiot. But I'm going to walk you through this. And so the last one, I threw it up there. And he's like, why are you throwing up a one-legged chicken? And I was like, I'm tired. You know, like I didn't know what.
You didn't have it in you to cut off one more leg.
Right. Yeah. I cut off 35 legs and left one. And I think it was more like a handle, like just frustration.
Just slung it in there. Yeah.
Throw it. And I remember like thinking like, I don't know why I did that, but it was funny. So all of a sudden, like now it's like the talk of the town. Like, hey,
there's this moron with
we
a
weren't
one leg.
Lane's Barbecue yet. I think we were like Southern Rubbed Barbecue. We'd come up with some name. Yeah. And I remember like you hear the murmurs, you know. And so the next day we get up and like I think we might have finished last in chicken. Like it happened. The ribs, I remember us being pumped. They turned out great, but not by the judges' like thoughts. And the pork was good, but I think all in all, we're at the bottom of everything. But we won the People's Choice Award. And so like for the chicken wings. Yeah. And so like we get a call up on the stage and we're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And I remember walking up and Randy, who apparently had already started drinking for the day, gets up, he's like, hi, it's a one-legged chicken. And like everyone started laughing and I'm like, oh my God. Like I'm like embarrassed. Yeah. And then like, so we won the award, we took all the pictures and like we got home, we were telling this story and everyone's like, oh my God, like, didn't you do any research? And I'm like, no, man, we just showed up. And so the next year we showed up and our team was one-legged chicken. Yeah. And that's pretty much like if I saw Randy today,
that's what he'd be
like,
say.
How's the one-legged chicken? And I think it was just more of like entering into that world and like just not knowing anything about what you're doing.
You just own it. Yeah.
And we owned it.
Just owned it.
Yeah. We sucked. Yeah. But let me tell you, that was probably the best tasting one-legged chicken. People always ask like, what is a one-legged chicken? I'm like, it's so good. He ate his other leg. Yeah. And then Stacy's like, you can't say that. Yeah. Like, that's just gross. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, I remember, so Thor, when I first got here, y'all were like, oh, the first thing you got to do is design this, like redesign this shirt. Yeah. And Thor sends me a picture of some raggedy shirt with a chicken holding up his own leg, and he's got like a peg leg.
Yeah. You know, so one of my buddies, Joe Rothschild, designed the first one. And I'm like, hey man, I want a one-legged chicken holding the chicken leg. Yeah. And he's like, why? I'm like, I don't know. I just think it'll be great. Like, we're going to be a barbecue team. We're one-legged chicken. Like, that's it. And he's like, okay. And I remember we all had shirts made. And the next year we showed up in the one-legged chicken shirts. But it's kind of been like our thing since we got the one-legged chicken buffalo sauce.
What? So who decided that to like name a product one-legged chicken?
Well, I did. So I knew
it was your choice. Okay.
Yeah, it was a buffalo sauce. I was thinking buffalo, chicken wings, like one-legged chicken's a catchy thing.
Yeah, but it wasn't buffalo when you made it. Like when you did the competition, it was just like a sweet chicken or something.
Yeah, it was actually, we won our competition mixing sweet and white sauce.
Oh, okay. Which is
still
I think we won. Some wings
combos.
That way too. Yeah.
Yeah, the one-legged chicken just fit for a buffalo sauce.
Yeah,
so,
I like it.
And it kind of like it is so good.
Yeah, like my son.
I'm not gonna eat my leg, but it would be.
Yeah, so. My son. It's like of all our products. Like I think he could probably do without a bunch of them, but one-legged chicken.
I'm telling you,
he loves it.
On everything. Yeah. I'm always like, people are like, describe it. I'm like, it's not gonna melt your face. But it's just like, it's hot. Yeah. But it's just like an awesome buffalo flavor. It's like
bold.
If you mix it with the white sauce.
Oh, it's so good. It's
amazing.
Yeah. But I think of bold, like it's bold. Like it's a good buffalo sauce, but there's some kind of boldness about it. Like
there's
it's really
tons of like spices that go into it. So
and I've seen all kinds of stuff made. I mean, buffalo dip, I swear this is probably not healthy, but my family, we make buffalo dip.
Say it's not healthy.
It can't be.
Welcome to our life.
We make buffalo dip literally every week. And like taquito.
Every week you make buffalo
every
dip?
single week. It's probably.
You use one-legged chickens?
One-legged chicken every time. And then I think we maybe talked about this, Tyler Grill and Daddy, the fact that he gets it and he does something to strain out some of the black pepper and then he injects his chicken with it just still blows me away. I love his account when he does that. And
Heck yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think what was some other, we've put it on taco, like all kinds of big, huge burritos and
I think anything you can like, it goes great on a breakfast burrito.
Yep. Oh yes.
Of course, chicken wings. I actually love dipping French fries in it.
Yeah.
I take white sauce and
I was going to say, I mix it with something. Yep.
And dunk my fries in it. At the end of the day, keep experimenting. And what I would challenge you to do is like, I always tell this to my kids. I'm like, do something every day that scares you.
Yeah.
Like, and I think a lot of times I say that because I'm really trying to convince myself to put myself in new environments that like scare the crap out of me, because I think you learn so much about yourself.
Yep.
We had no business going and doing like a competition. Yeah. Like no business showing up. The fact is like I can laugh at myself.
Yeah.
And all my buddies were like, we had no idea. We just showed up, you know? But I was like, I'm going to take responsibility for this. Right. And like, I totally screwed it up. But like, it's a story. And like when it all comes back to it, it is about community.
Yeah.
And I still talk to a lot of those guys. I love that. And that was 12 or 13 years ago. Yeah. So it was cool. Hopefully, maybe that answers the question.
That's a great story.
No one's laughing.
I love that story.
Unfortunately, I'm not that funny.
Yeah.
And so it is what it is. But
classic bonehead move.
It's just, I call it another day. You know what I mean? Like I'm always going to do things that people question. And that's okay. I'm cool with it. So, but the pro tip would be, man, get out of your box.
Yeah.
Try something new. Try something that scares you, because I think that's where you're really going to like stretch. Not that it doesn't look like I work out a lot, but if you haven't worked out in a long time and you go work out, it hurts. But you got to break it down before you can build it back up. And so that's what I always like encourage everyone, even at the team. Like, hey man, if there's something that you want to do, but you're scared to do it, just do it.
Yeah. Fail.
Like failing is not a problem.
No.
In fact, if you don't fail, you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah.
So,
and hey, you walked away with a cool story. So
yeah. And a t-shirt.
And a t-shirt.
You know what I mean? I got the t-shirt.
And we did redo the design. The shirts are on the side if you want a classic one-legged t-shirt.
That's right.
Be
Check
part of the team.
LanesBBQ.com. Well, cool. All right. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Listen, make sure you're liking, subscribing, sharing. Tell every single person you know about this podcast.
And if you got any questions for us that we can talk about on the podcast, send them to us through
Our
social,
goal is to
email.
Read through them, like do a little thing where we can talk about them, answer any questions you have. We'd love to know what you're cooking, how you're using our spices and sauces, and just tell us more about your life. We'd love to hear it. So see you soon.